Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us. This is a team-inspired call by Eric Johnson from Teamzy, and we are excited to have him share some tips about what we can do going into, well, starting now, but then going into 2023. So, Eric, I love your program. I've been doing it for quite a few years now, and I totally believe in it, and I thank you for what you created for us. So you can take it away.
My pleasure. So thank you so much. I'm excited to be with you. I asked Cindy to organize a conversation with the leaders on the team because we've kind of hatched a plan to really help get the full team into momentum going into the new year, and having a real strong start to 2023. But for that to work, we need to talk to you guys first, because honestly, without you and the influence that you have over your team members, it's not going to happen. So I wanted to talk to you guys first about kind of what we have planned. But before I do that, I want to give you just a little bit of a training on how to get a team into momentum and some of the philosophies and tactics that work every single time. And then what we'll show you is what we've put together kind of harnesses everything I'm teaching you. But I want you guys to have these principles so that ongoing you can be applying them in the business. Make sense? So if you're able to, and I know, Kelly, you're not able to, but we're recording it. If you're able to take notes, you're going to want to. Okay. So let me just jam through this really quickly. You guys see my presentation screen? Okay. So how to help your team members build momentum quickly. And the quickly is important because getting into momentum, it's the kind of thing that we need to do with a sense of urgency, right? We want to always get things moving quickly, and I'll explain that as we go. A quick intro about me for those of you who don't really know who I am. I help business owners build successful relationship-based businesses. I've been a professional business coach for 20 years, in my 21st year. I can't believe it. It's pretty crazy. And I've trained over 150,000 direct sellers, more than 80 networks in the past 7 years. And founder of Teamzy, that's top CRM. I think you guys are all aware of Teamzy at this point, and also author of the book Power Hour Boss. There's a little screenshot of the cover there. Okay, quickly. And we've had the opportunity to help some of the top teams, which is such an amazing thing. And we're excited to be talking with you guys today. Oh, there's some cool pictures from Juice Plus conferences there. I don't know if you guys caught those. Okay, so, and real quick about Teamzy, for those of you who haven't used our Teamzy system, our active Teamzy users are averaging 21 new customers and 9 new recruits over 90 days. Okay, so 21 new customers and 9 new recruits over 90 days. We always look at 90 days because there's about a 90-day response curve to your activities. Is that true? Yeah. That's why it's so important we have a plan for the new year before the new year starts. Right? Okay. So let's jump in here again at the end. After this little bit of a training, I'm going to show you the program that we've got in mind for this team to really help you guys get going, get yourself ready mentally and physically, get rid of your distractions, right? Turn off your phones unless you're watching on your phone, then keep it on. Okay. So just really quickly, I want to talk to you about my consulting business, not because I want you to join it, but because I want you to, I want to share a lesson I learned, which I think is very relevant to your business as well as Juice Plus franchise owner. So I've been in the consulting business for this is my 21st year, as I mentioned. And some of you don't know my backstory. I come from the real estate industry, not direct sales. So I've been working primarily with real estate brokerages and professionals for 21 years, though we've coached just about everybody over those times. And the way consulting works is typically people will hire our firm for 90-day consulting, right? So they'll hire us for 90 days. They pay us a nice juicy fee. But our goal is that they continue to retain us for coaching ongoing after that 90 days. Does this make sense? And the way that we earn a living in this business is over time, you collect a whole bunch of different clients who have you on retainer to talk to you 30 minutes, a couple times a month. And that builds into a nice portfolio of businesses you're helping and good income. Does this make sense? Okay. I just want you guys to understand this because as a consultant in that industry, if you want to make a living, there's one thing you must do right away. And this is the same thing as leaders in your business you must do with your new people. And that is this: you have to help them get a fast win. You have to help them get a fast win. So as a consultant, my clients need to know there's value here. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I need to keep going with these guys, right? The same thing's true for a new a new partner coming into your business. They need a fast win so they believe, oh my gosh, this is going to work, right? Okay, so the fast win, it builds their confidence. It builds their confidence. And they believe I can do this, right? They believe I can do this. I feel like one of the major self-doubts that people say is, can I do this? Is this even possible for me to do this, right? So they believe I can do this, and they're going to trust you more. So the fast win is crucial. The fast win is crucial. Okay. By the way, as we're talking about new people, see, I'm doing the air quotes in case you can't see my tiny little face in the screen. We're also talking about established people who have hit a plateau, maybe stalled in their business. They need to get a fast win to get back into action. Make sense? For the same reasons. Okay. So there are some predators that get in the way of this fast win. And it's important that we look at them at the outset so we're ready to meet them, right? And so some of the things that we see a lot is this one: I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid of receiving a negative or unsupportive response to my new business. Have you noticed that with new folks? How many of you hate rejection?
Mhm.
Yeah, me too. I hate rejection. That's why I have my whole system that's built around not getting rejected. So you guys will like it. Okay. Also, I'm afraid to come across salesy. I don't want to damage relationships. This is a big one. People are really worried. How many of you guys are like this? You're worried about coming across as the icky salesperson, right? You don't want people to think of you that way. So this is important. People don't want to come across salesy. And also, I don't know how to do this. I just don't know how. I don't know how. How many of you have kids or have raised kids? Isn't it amazing how kids, if they don't know how to do something, they just won't, right? Mm-hmm. And then somehow we think that's different with adults. It's really not. It's really not. Some adults are disciplined enough to say, help me know how to do this so I can do it. But most adults just don't do it. So we need to make sure that they know how to do it. Okay, so some solutions to the predators. For the fear of rejection, what we want to do is we want to help them receive supportive and positive responses right away to the new business. We want to help them receive supportive and positive responses right away to the new business. And I'm going to explain how we do that with our simple system in a second. For the second predator, the fear of coming across salesy, we're going to help them to create interest in their business and products the right way. Okay, we're going to help them create interest in their business and products the right way. And what do I mean by that? I'll explain that, but we're going to help them do it so that people are excited for them and not feeling like they're trying to ram something down their throat. Okay. And I don't know how to do this. We need to make sure that they know how to process a sale, sign up a new recruit, the basics of the business. We cannot assume it's simple, or we cannot assume that the Juice Plus back office has it laid out really easy for them. We have to make sure they understand, right? So these are really important things. Now let's get into some how-tos on these. And sorry if I'm moving fast, you guys. I want to cover everything in the little bit of time we have. So talking about that first part about getting them that fast win, helping them build some confidence, not getting rejected. First, we explain why ranking the contacts is vital. Okay, so this is because we want to make sure they start with the people who like and trust them the most. So if you've used Teamzy, and if some of you haven't used Teamzy yet, that's fine. You're going to want to by the end of our conversation, I would think. But in Teamzy, we have a simple system. We rank our contacts on a 5-star scale, just like you're used to ranking everything, right? 5 stars is really awesome, and 1 star is not so much, right? We use the 5-star system because it helps us prioritize our relationships. Now, if you've got a new person who's just starting out, the last thing you want them to do is to pick randomly from their Facebook friends list and try to talk to somebody, right? Because they may get somebody who barely knows them or doesn't know them at all. And what's the chance that they're going to be excited to strike up a deep conversation about this right now? Does this make sense? We want people to start with the people who like and trust them the most. They're going to get better results. Now, just to give you just a very simplified example of this, when my son Cruz was 6, he joined the Cub Scouts. How many of you guys have had scouts, Girl or Boy Scouts? Yeah. And so we were all excited. You know, I was really into the Scouts when I was a boy. I was excited for him to learn all this cool stuff. And we get to the meeting and they're like, okay, glad you're here. We're selling popcorn this month. And here's this little shy boy, and my son, when he was little, he would cling to my leg and hide behind it. How many of you guys had one of those kids, right? And so he's thinking, oh my gosh, I do not want to go sell this popcorn. They're going to stand him in front of a grocery store, right? He's mortified. So we knew that we needed to help him build his confidence. So we got him suited up in his uniform. And where do you guys suppose we brought Cruz? His name's Cruz, my son. We took him to grandma's house, right? We took him to grandma's house. Why did we take him to grandma's house? Because we knew that she would just think it was great and buy all his stuff and make him feel great. And it worked, right? It built the confidence. You guys, this is true for all of our teams as well. They need to start where the relationships are warm, right? And that's going to help them not get that rejection right away. Make sense? Okay, I know it's a simple thing, but it works. Okay, number 2, we want to teach them the fundamentals of relationship marketing. This is where I can come in and help, especially how to make people's day in a connect message and how to mention the business by sharing what you do and why you're so passionate about it. Okay, so these are some fundamental things that I will teach on the team training that we've got scheduled for, I believe it's the 2nd of January. So I have the date on a slide later on. I'm pretty sure it's the 2nd of January off my memory. We start conversations by making somebody's day because we get a really high response rate and it allows us to have normal conversations with people without turning them off, right? So step 1, we'll teach that. And then when we share what we do and why we're passionate about it, people are always happy for us. It's not threatening. It doesn't feel like we're trying to put a solution on them that they don't know they need, right? So it's a great way for us to introduce the business in a way we don't come across salesy, and people are always excited for us. So again, I'll go through this on the training. It's really important. Number 3, we want to make sure that we have everything documented for people so they can't mess it up. They can't mess it up. Sometimes and forgive me, you guys, I haven't been through the journey on the new Juice Plus site to see how it looks for them. But even if it's there, this is something I believe is that everything needs to be reproduced and given to them, handed to them, right? How many of you guys have had people you're like, yeah, just go right to that. Just go look it up. It's right there for you. And they're like, what's my login? Right. So, right. So we just need to make sure, I like to start that sentence with, please don't feel that I'm insulting your intelligence, but I want you to have this. So at the moment you need it, you are absolutely clear how to do it, right? So super important. Okay, so let's keep moving here. Number 4, be available to support them, hold their hand through the process at first, okay? This is super important to you guys. We have to get them over that hump, get them that first sale, that first recruit, so they can feel confident. Does this make sense? This is a principle that I feel strongly about in my business at Teamzy. We make everything's there for you to find, but then we also have staff available to get on a one-on-one Zoom with people, hold their hand through the setup process, make sure that they understand everything. We do that all the time. So it's important that you have both available. Makes sense. Okay. So just review on this first point, helping them get that fast win will build their confidence. They'll believe I can do this and they'll trust you more. So that's the first step, get the fast win. Now we need to help them create momentum. So we need to build on this win. Okay. So the reason why momentum is key is because there's no other way to be successful in this business. You've got to be in momentum. Have you ever heard the phrase slow and steady wins the race? Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, everyone's heard that, but it's not true in direct sales. Slow and steady will not win the race. Slow and steady will hold you in place, right? Because this is a momentum business and attrition is part of our business, right? So for us to grow, we have to get into momentum. And, I think in Juice Plus has been around longer than a lot of companies in direct sales. So you have people who have been doing this for many, many years. Right. And a lot of them will tell you, yeah, actually, I've been at the same rank for a long time, because we need to get in momentum to grow. Are you guys with me? Mm-hmm. Now, talking to teams, and I'm going to say this to you guys as the leaders, because I don't want to go here with the whole team, but talking to a lot of teams the last few months, a lot of people are not just in Juice Plus, but industry wide, they're working hard to re-qualify at ranks they previously held, right? So they're not even thinking, oh, I want to grow or I want to get to here. It's like, oh, I need to requalify. I need to get back to where I was in 2020, which is kind of a defensive posture, right? And we want you guys on an offensive posture. We want you guys striving to succeed and grow again. Does this make sense? So what we want to do, you guys, if that was you, if that hit you when I just said that, like, that's what I've been doing, I want you guys to look past getting back to where you were towards where you want to go. And let's build momentum and aim everything at that. Make sense? Okay. So we want to get the momentum. It's the only way to get success. When they're in momentum, they will begin to fall in love with the business. They will begin to fall in love with the business. So they go from, I think I can do this, to, wow, this is cool. I love this. This is fun, right? Also, they'll believe, now I can help others to do this. See, once you get into momentum, you think, well, maybe I can build a team, right? Maybe I can be a leader. And even better, they won't quit. People in momentum don't quit the business. If you've struggled with building people, investing people, and watching them quit, they're not going to quit in momentum. If you've got people right now on your team that you're worried about because they haven't done anything in a long time, you're thinking they're not long for this business, getting them in momentum here at the beginning of the year might just save their business, right? Okay, so let's talk about what momentum looks like. As a coach, we track action, not results. We track results, of course, but you don't have control over the results, but you do have control over the actions. Does this make sense? That you do. So these are the actions that someone in momentum is doing regularly, I would say even daily. Number one, they're creating new conversations daily. They're creating new conversations daily. Okay, this is proactively messaging or connecting with somebody to start a conversation with them. Okay, number two, they have multiple ongoing conversations leading toward a share. Multiple ongoing conversations are leading toward a share. So if you're starting a new conversation every day with some people, then you're going to be continuing that, because usually we're messaging or texting, right? Does this make sense? So those conversations will linger over several days, sometimes even weeks. So you've got ongoing conversations that you're continuing each day, as well as the ones you're starting. Okay, number three, they're sharing consistently. Now, let me just give you my definition of sharing, because it's very simple. I want to clarify any confusion on this. I consider it sharing if you're sharing a product solution for somebody, or you're sharing the business opportunity, or a combination. Okay. So sharing that you do Juice Plus isn't sharing. That's part of the conversation. Makes sense. Sharing is when you actually get down to sharing the products with them. Okay. So now they're actually getting to a place in these conversations where they're able to share Juice Plus with people. This is a big deal. If you're not doing that, it's just fun, but you're not going to get anywhere. Make sense? Okay. And then the fourth thing they're doing in momentum is now they've got multiple people on the follow-ups list, which are headed toward a sale or recruitment. So you're starting conversations, continuing conversations, sharing with people, and following up on those shares. Right? Number four is critical, because 80% of sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. Most people in our business who are really good follow up 3 or 4 times. They're giving up 80% of their opportunity. Crazy, right? And you guys have some of you have been around long enough to have messaged somebody and followed up with them and talked to them over time, and then you lose touch for a minute and you find out they signed up with somebody else. How many of you have had that happen? Yeah. So that was a nice gift. You prepared that person for that other team, right? Because you did all the hard work. It's like planting a seed, watering it, fertilizing it, right? And then missing the harvest day. It's okay. It's normal. That's why we have to have Teamzy to help you guys stay on top of those. So if you're doing these 4 things, then what's going to happen is every single month, you will be seeing new sales come in. You'll be seeing new recruits joining the team. It's like, well, I mean, if you've used Teams, we can actually predict the results based on your daily activity. It's predictable. It's kind of amazing. We can't say, well, if you follow up 10 times with Jane, she'll sign up. But we know that if you follow up 10 times and you're talking to 100 people this month, you're going to have people join the team. Does this make sense? Okay. You guys have that? Maybe screenshot that, because that's the key slide here tonight. If you haven't done it, I know we're recording this, but I want you guys really focused on this. This is what we're going to get your team doing in January. These 4 things. Okay. That's the whole point of this call. I want you guys to get that. Okay. So to create the momentum, there's 2 things we need to do. I recommend you establish a daily power hour. Okay. What is that? A power hour is an intentional period of time. The truth be told, it doesn't need to be an hour. If you're using Teamzy, it doesn't even take an hour. How many of you guys use Teamzy and it doesn't even take an hour? Right? So if you're brand new, the first day in Teamzy, you might spend a little more time because you're feeling it out. But once you get the workflows, it's going to be really fast, right? But it's an intentional amount of time. It's an appointment that you set. It's focus. Your phone is on do not disturb. You're sending your messages. You're getting it done. You're in, you're out. You guys, I know I'm not trying to plug my book. It's called Power Hour Boss, but I built Teamzy so that this business could be built in an hour or less. Why? Because the whole point of this business for many of us is to have time to enjoy our lives and our family, right? And so I didn't want to trade a 10-hour workday working for somebody else for a 20-hour workday working for myself. I wanted to be able to be in and out and enjoy my life. And that's why we built it. So we want to help them establish a daily power, getting them focused on, okay, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do this? Okay. The second piece is do it consistently. Do it consistently. And this is the challenge. Doing it consistently. Would you guys agree? Yeah, we'll address that here in a second. Okay. So the predators, quickly on this. This is what people tell me. It's so time consuming. It's hard to get organized. I don't know who to reach out to. What do I say? How many people should I prospect to each day? It's so overwhelming. Getting organized overwhelms people a lot, right? Also, I hear it's so hard to be consistent. This is what we were just talking about. Life gets in the way. I don't always feel like it. I'm not seeing big results yet, so why bother? Can I even do this? Can I even do this? So going into this first piece, again, this is why we built Teamzy. It takes all this worry out. It saves time. They know exactly what to do. They know who to reach out to. They know what to say. They know how many people they should reach out to based on their goals. It's all done for you. You just log in and do it, right? So we take away all of those worries and concerns and the fact that people just don't know how to do that. Now, the second piece, being consistent, this takes a little bit more nuanced action, if you will. It's not as straightforward because this is one of the, major things about being a human is that we're not always consistent. Would you guys agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, right? If we were, no one would need Juice Plus. So just a little side note, be grateful that people aren't consistent because it gives us a business. Mike and I always joke about our business. We're grateful that people need our help to build their business because that's our business, right? If everyone was a genius at this, then we wouldn't have a place to do it. Okay. Is that the fire alarm? Do we need to exit the building? Okay. So solutions on this one. There's a few things that we want to talk about to help people be consistent. The first one is bring them to their why. Bring them to their why. What's their why? And, not everybody knows what their why is. This is an important thing to get people aware of, right? We did build into Teamzy a simple way to find your why. It's built into the Teamzy dashboard. If you guys click on my why, there's some questions that'll lead you through the process of helping you uncover your why. But we need to get to the emotional why. This is the emotional reason for doing the business. It's not goals. It's not financial. It's the emotional, right? And it's super important we know our why. And it's very important as leaders that we know our team members' whys. Because we need to be able to go, okay, well, Cindy, I know you've been struggling lately and you haven't been feeling very motivated. And by the way, it's just an example. Okay. But, you told me that the reason why you're doing this business is because, right? Is that still accurate? Or do I need to update it? No, that's still accurate. Okay, well, I just wanted to bring that up again. Usually just even mentioning it brings people back to, you're right. I need to get out there and get focused. Does this make sense? So bringing people back to their why is huge. I always recommend, if you guys do one-on-one coaching with your team where you get on, you check in and have a conversation with them from time to time, Structure that time a little bit, like have a few things that you want to do every time. And one of them will be, before we get started, let me read the why I have in Teamzy and see if it is still accurate for you. And read it out loud to them. Now, what this will do, you guys, besides reinforcing it for them, it will, before the conversation starts, eliminate 80% of the excuses that were going to happen in that conversation, right? Because people will self-edit. They'll go, you're right. I haven't been doing it and I need to do it, because that why really convicts. Make sense? Okay. Number two, they need to be inspired. People need to be inspired. How many of you sometimes feel like you need to be inspired?
Mhm.
That's good. We all do. I will tell you this, though, by intentionally looking for ways to inspire your team, you'll find yourself inspired as well. It will help, right? It will help. We need to be inspired. There's so much competing for our attention, and most of it is negative. Most of it does not want our good. Would you guys agree? And so we need to be intentional about, like, look, you guys get this. You know why you take Juice Plus every day, right? Because you know that our bodies are being assaulted from all sides. The same is true of our hearts and our minds. And so we need that inspiration. The inspiration is like taking Juice Plus. I love that I can talk to you guys. You guys will get that instantly. We need to make sure that we're giving that to our team. And the next piece is accountability. Accountability is probably the most important thing. And I'm going to share with you guys a program we built that's got 5 different ways that we hold people accountable. But the reason why accountability works is because we are specially created, amazing creatures, right? We're made for accountability. We're also not meant to be alone. We're meant to be in community, which is why all our lights come on. We're working together with other people. Are you guys with me? So this is, if you guys, however you want to look at, I'm a person of faith. I have a feeling a lot of you are too. But if you look at whether you look at the, ancient wisdom that's in scripture, or you look at social science, that will tell you the same thing, is that people are happier, more fulfilled, and more productive when they're working in a place that has positive relationship, connection, community, belonging, right? So the accountability is huge, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the bottom line, the easiest way to look at it is like this, is we just don't do much for ourselves, but we do everything for others. And if you're a parent, you get this at a deep level, right? You get this at a deep level. So when we can use that way we're naturally wired by creating accountability, that's fun. We'll just do more. Bottom line, we'll just do more and get more out of it. And so we're going to look at that. It's super important. And finally, people need encouragement and motivation. They need encouragement and motivation. So I always use encouragement and motivation in the same bullet. Here's why: because sometimes we encourage and sometimes we need a little kick in the pants, right? So it's like, this actually happened today as a father. My son had a huge test today. He was very nervous about it. He didn't want to go. He wanted to call out sick. And I was very encouraging all morning until I finally said, get your butt out of your bed and get in the car, right? Sometimes we need encouragement and sometimes we need that motivation. Would you guys agree? So we have to look at all of it. We have to look at the full picture of this for our team. This is part of leadership, but these 4 pieces are kind of the secret sauce for helping people to be consistent. And it is a challenge. It's constantly a challenge to keep people consistent. And our team members need to understand this too. Like, you need to be consistent. Great. Here are all the things we need to do to be consistent. It's not a natural state for us to be in. So we're going to help construct this for you. Okay. All right. So remember, when you help them create momentum, that's the only way they can really be successful and grow this business. They're going to fall in love with the business when they're in momentum. They'll believe I can help others do this, and they won't quit. They won't quit. Okay. Number 3, now that we've got them in momentum, we need to help them implement tools and systems to maintain that momentum and increase it, right? Super important. We don't want to just do this for 2 weeks and then get everybody back to normal again, right? We want to create new habits of momentum. So first off, get them using Teamzy. This is a no-brainer, super simple, right? Super simple, easy to duplicate program. We have this special price point for Juice Plus partners. It's a third less than the rest of the world pays because corporate asked us to do that for you guys. So like, it's super easy to do. So we can get people using Teamzy. Okay, that's the first piece. Lean into some of the Teamzy trainings, like the one I'm going to share with you guys in a second that we're building out for your team. But just keep in mind, you guys, and I know some of you have been through our Teamzy boot camps and things like that, that we've got great courses and things that team members can opt into as they want to go deeper in their knowledge of relationship marketing and applying it to their business. They're there for them. Okay. And there's some free ones too, of course. And then as leaders, we need to create systems that provide accountability. Here's what my goal is to model to you some systems I found work really well. I want you guys to take that experience and create ongoing systems in your teams for accountability, right? Ongoing systems for accountability. And when they falter, we give them actionable advice for improvement. When they falter, we give them actionable advice for improvement. Okay, so real quick on this. I just want to explain what I mean by this. People, this is something I've learned as a coach for the past 20 years, is when somebody's not performing like they want, that's not when they need motivation and blah, blah, blah. They need a game plan, right? They need a game plan. If you had a specific fitness goal, let's say, this is just an easy example. Let's say, okay, you've got a wedding coming up in 8 weeks and you want to get into a specific dress and you need to lose some inches. What are you going to do? Do you want me to say, okay, well, you've got this. I believe in you. You can do this, right? No, you would go to a trainer or something and they would say, okay, here's what you need to do. Here's your nutrition plan. Here's what your fitness plan looks like. I need your button here with me at the gym at 5 a.m. every day for the next 8 weeks. We're going to work on this, 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 and this, right? It's an action plan. Okay, I've got a goal. I need to take action. This is so important, you guys. If you see people struggling, they need an action plan. Okay. And again, we're going to give you an action plan that we're going to use, but I want you guys to be inspired by that and have action plans so that you can give people things to follow when they're struggling. Right. So there could be, what we're going to talk about is an activity plan, meaning getting out and connecting with people. But you may have an action plan for learning, for product knowledge, for building product knowledge, or for different areas of the business. So think about those, you guys, as you go forward as leaders. Okay. So the plan, are you guys ready for this? Was that helpful though, from a philosophical and tactical standpoint? Were those some helpful ideas for getting into momentum? Okay, great.
Yes. Yeah.
So here's the plan. The reason we gathered you together today was what we want to do is we want to launch a Teamzy challenge. And the goal here is to plug your team members into the program that we've specifically designed to help them get started right and build momentum in the business. Okay. For you guys, this will be extremely helpful too, because a lot of you guys will get into massive momentum as well as the leaders. So let's show you. You guys ready for this? This is just a cool little graphic the team put together. But if you look at this graphic, look at the bottom line, where I just want you to look at that first point where people enter that graph. This is like a new person. They get kind of excited. They start to build a little bit. Maybe they sign up a couple people, and then they'll kind of plateau. Not everybody, but the majority of people, they'll start to plateau and then just kind of taper off, right? That's what we see happens for, well, the number in the industry is 90%. 90% of recruits, right? Have you guys noticed about, you might say 10% of the team are builders, or 10% are interested in building the business. So the other 90%, they look like this. So what we want to do with Teamzy is we want to get them right when they're excited about signing up, and we want to give them the tools to turn that curve into a growth spurt. And that's exactly what we're building this program to do. Now, again, we're talking about launching new members, but we need to relaunch our existing members too, because we've been kind of in a funk. So now it's time to get everybody relaunched. Does this make sense, you guys? So, and then what'll happen is at every stage of growth, that plateau and decline will come again. How many of you have experienced it at different stages of growth? So this is what is the normal cycle. And so you need to interrupt those plateaus with something to give you another launch. So what we've done at Teamzy is we've created different training courses you can opt into at different levels so that you can boost the next thing. But Juice Plus knows this too, which is why conferences and regional events and things happen every 3 or 4 months, right? Because they know that people are going to go into the plateau. They need energy. They need a boost. They need community to keep them going. So just if you guys understand this, it's not just about new people. It's about your leaders. It's about people who've been in the business a long time and are very successful. They may be plateauing as well, right? And we need to artificially interrupt those to go. I like to think of it as like people say have you ever heard people say it's not a race? It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, right? But it's not really a marathon either. It's more like a series of sprints where you walk in between, right? That's what success is really like. It's like you walk for a while and then you get your energy up and you go all out and you get to the next level. And then right? It's more like a series of sprints with some walking in between. So that's why that curve looks like that. Okay. So let's talk about the Kickstart program that we built for you. It's a complete onboarding program to help your team members get a fast win, consistently crush power hours, build and maintain momentum with Teamzy. Have you guys ever heard the term Kickstart, Teamzy Kickstart before? The only reason I ask is because we actually built this program originally for Juice Plus Corporate in, I think it was 2020. Was that the year where the conference went virtual, or was it 2021? I think it was the end of 2020. Anyways, we rebuilt this program to be a team program, and it's so much better than when you try to do it company wide. And as I go through it, I just want you guys to know it's been, the results we've been getting has been insanely good. Okay. So what it is it's a 14-day, just 2 weeks. So it's something anyone can do without getting too overwhelmed. It's a 14-day step-by-step action plan to teach your team members how to set up and properly use Teamzy. They'll know exactly what to do each day. They'll learn how to connect to make people's day. They'll understand how to share the business without turning people off. We'll get some fast results to build their confidence and help them become consistent and create momentum. Everything we've been talking about, right? Everything we've been talking about. This includes training videos and resources that I've curated for them to plug into as they go through the 2 weeks at different stages of their growth and experience with Teamzy. It also has a 14-day tracker that they'll download and they can check and follow along as they go, right? So it's put together really nicely in a nice little neat package, this training program that they have access to. They're going to feel like, wow, this is really professionally done, feels great. Now, just so you guys know, this portion of it, just the kind of the 14-day course and activity plan, this is something that if I actually packaged as a product on my website, just so you guys, this isn't what we're doing, but I just wanted you guys to understand the context. I would probably charge about $100 for this. Okay. So just so you have context on that, probably about $100 value just for that piece of it. Now, based on what we just talked about though, you guys, it's not just about that daily power hour knowing what to do. It's the consistency part that we struggle with, right? And so what we've done is we have created a whole system for accountability to help your team to be consistent for those 2 weeks. I'm going to kind of break this down because there's a lot of pieces to this. I'm going to go through it as quick as I can because I want to leave some time for questions, and we've got to get off right at the hour. So if not sooner. So first layer of accountability. So what we'll do is we want to take over the team Facebook group for a couple of weeks. Now, not everybody in the team is going to do this challenge, which is fine. We hope that watching us do it in their space will give them some fear of missing out, right? Some serious FOMO over it. Maybe we'll get some people engaged midway. But we're going to take over that group, and there's a bunch of things we want to do in there to create the accountability. The first piece is self-accountability. So we actually have a commitment form that's part of the download. We want people to sign their commitment with their signature, that they're committed to doing their best for 2 weeks. They'll post that in the group for everyone to see, right? I'm committed 2 weeks. I'm in, Eric Johnson, I'm in, right? Which is very powerful. The next thing that we'll do is we will encourage people to get success partners. So a success partner, somebody to hold you accountable one-on-one, right? Sometimes they'll do groups of 3. You guys know 3 chords, hard to break. So sometimes we'll do 3, which is fine too. So what we want to do with success partners is, besides encouraging each other, but we want them to message or text their success partner every day for the 2 weeks. And part of that message will be a screenshot of their Teamzy completed. Okay. So, or at least as much as they can do. So screenshot, boom, here's mine. Did you do yours type thing? It's huge. The next piece that we'll do is there's a team report that's inside your Teamzy account where you can actually see, your team members can opt into joining your team report so you can see what they're doing. And we're going to use the team report as an accountability measure so that, you know, I don't know if it'll be, it might be for sake of this, might be Cindy that's got the team report that's looking at everybody to see what they're doing. But it's very powerful to know that somebody actually is noticing whether you're working or not. How many of you eat better when someone's looking? Right? Especially you're the Juice Plus people. You certainly don't want to crush a maple donut when people are around. You're like, oh, I'll go for the vegetable tray at this Christmas party because I'm the Juice Plus person, right? It's true though, right? It's the accountability of somebody looking. So that team report's really huge. It's also very powerful to share with the team, you know, whether creating leaderboards or just going live and showing it, because we get to celebrate the people who are doing really well, which activates all of the competitors in the group. How many of you are competitive? So the competitors want to match the numbers they see. And there's another type of person. I don't know if you guys have ever realized this, because some people go, I'm not competitive. But there's another group, we call them, in our business, we call them impress. They have an impress attribute. Some people like to be number one, not because they're competitive, but they like to be seen, right? So that impress attribute actually is a huge motivator for people on your team as well. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's both. So the team report's a very powerful tool for that. Okay, a couple other things here. Also in the group, you know, you're going to be sharing your best practices, new ideas, awesome results. They'll be seeking advice, getting to know people on the team. Maybe they didn't know. Going through something together is really powerful for building community, right? So this is the kind of thing we're all going to be together, challenging each other on the same page, on the same day of activities, right? So there's that kind of camaraderie that happens. The way it'll work is we've got a daily tip. Cindy's going to be posting the daily tip every day for 14 days, and they're numbered. Day 1, week 1, day 1, week 1, day 2, right? They're numbered daily tips. They're going to be these inspiring motivational posts, right? Like we need to be seeing. But we're going to ask people to comment on the daily tip every day. We want everyone in the group to comment on the tip. What we want to know on that tip, they can comment anything they want, of course, questions, comments, whatever. But we want them to tell us that they did their Teamzy today, that they hit their daily goal, right? We'll even encourage screenshots as comments, which is great because then we can see it, right? It's really powerful. So if you're sitting at home, kind of not feeling like it, and you see all these comments popping of people finishing their Teamzy Power Hour today, it's very motivating. Does this make sense? Okay. Also, through the process of creating success partners, we find long-term relationships are a little side benefit of doing a challenge like this. You'll see the team coming together stronger as people really bond over this, which is really, really cool. And then you'll also have access to me. I will be, as long as you guys are cool with putting me in the group, I'll be there. So I won't be leading it. Now, this is what's really fun. If you've been through one of my boot camps, the fact that it's going to be led by Cindy is going to be powerful, but I will be present. So I'll be liking and commenting. And if anyone has a question or a concern or anything, they can feel like they have that VIP access. They can just tag me and I'll be right there on top of that chat, right? I'll be in there with them, which is really neat. So just to kind of, again, give you guys, so that's kind of how we bring it all together. We create a bunch of different layers of accountability. We make it fun. We create some energy. We get everybody moving together towards a similar goal for 2 weeks. It's really powerful. And just to kind of give you guys a context on the value of that, if I put this together on my own in the marketplace, I'd probably charge about $1,000 to be in this accountability group because it'd be so powerful. Okay. So again, just kind of reviewing what you're getting, and I'm going to have a little bit of time here for you guys to ask me questions. but it's a 14-day training course with the tracking worksheet. You're going to get they'll be using the Teamzy CRM and Power Hour with the Power Hour module built in. If you guys aren't familiar with that, I will be doing a full demo of this on the January 2nd call. Okay. New people get 14 days free, which is a great little value in and of itself. And keep in mind, the Juice Plus partner rate is 1/3 off our normal rate for Teamzy. There's also the Facebook accountability group, all of this stuff that we've mentioned. You'd stack up a value over $1,000 for this program. Okay. Just again, for context, and I'll go through this with the team too. But what we want to do for your team is we want to make this program available for $10. Okay, just $10. And again, the well, not again, I haven't said this yet, but the $10 is really just skin in the game. They just need to put a little skin in the game to say they're committed to doing it. Does this make sense? So they might actually get after it. Okay, so, and they've got to be using Teamzy to do this, right? You can't do it without Teamzy. Okay. So we want to launch this challenge on the 9th of January, which will give us a little time to get our feet into the new year, but at the same time, get people cranking that first month, right? So we want to launch it on the 9th of January, which brings us into the 3rd week of January, finishing up. In order to launch this on the 9th of January, first we need to have a team call, get everybody excited about this, where I'm going to present Teamzy, present the challenge to them, get them fired up. How many of you leaders that are on this call think this would be pretty cool to do with your team members? You guys excited? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what we need you guys to do is to get your team members to this call on January 2nd. Okay, it's 7:30 Eastern. And everybody will get this. Cindy has this little tile. You can have this tile to share. But really, you guys, if you can get, the more people you can get on this call, the more dynamic energy we'll have in the challenge. Okay. So, and I know it's the 2nd, it's like just shaking the cobwebs off the holidays, but start letting them know now, like we're going to dive right back in and have a plan to launch this year. So make sure that you guys mark your calendars and get here on January 2nd. This will be really exciting. So, what I encourage you to do is, don't do one post and expect it to happen. Pursue your people, right? One by one, which is why you're all on this call too, right? Kelly and Cindy didn't want to have to pursue everyone on the team, but if everybody can go towards your team and get as many of your people on this call as possible, they will enjoy the call. Whether or not they want to do the Kickstart with us, they'll get a lot out of the call. We're going to be teaching them how to build relationships, how to connect with people, right? So get them on this call. This is where we'll launch the whole thing. Now, real quick on this, just some logistics. I'm going to stop sharing so I can look at you for a second. Some logistics on how this works, because I know we got to bounce off in a second. We're going to create a custom website for you. So on that call in a second, I'll share the link. Actually, I'll share it with you, Cindy, as soon as I have it. You can give it to these leaders so you guys can get in there early and get set up. But this is going to be a special website just for your team where they can sign up for this challenge. So they won't be able to find this link in Teamzy, right? They'll have to get it through you guys. They'll go in, they'll sign up, they'll pay their $10 to get in. And as soon as they do that, it'll unlock the Kickstart challenge, all the resources and everything inside their Teamzy account. So, and we find that under University in Teamzy. So if you've done any of our training courses, they're all in University. It's one of the tabs on Teamzy. So they'll go to Teamzy University, boom, they'll see Cindy's picture there. And they'll see my picture, it'll say Kickstart, and they'll know that's the page. So that's how they unlock it, which is pretty cool. Okay. So let me just go through the pricing with you guys. If they're already using Teamzy, then $10 gets them the Kickstart and unlocks the page. If they're brand new, then they'll come in, they'll pay their $10, and it'll create a Teamzy account for them. The first 14 days are free because we give a free trial. So they'll pay $10, 14 days it'll be free, and then on the 15th day, they'll get charged that first month of Teamzy. Okay. So the Teamzy rate right now, Teamzy is usually $30 a month, but for Juice Plus partners, it's $19.95. So on that 15th day, they'll see a $19.95 charge for Teamzy. Does that make sense? unless they opt to go 12 months at a time for a bigger discount, then they'll see the payment for the 12-month subscription. So they can choose those two options. But that's just, I just want to make that really clear, because people are always like, wait, how's this work? So if you're brand new, you're going to end up seeing 2 payments 14 days apart. Does that make sense? Because one's just Teamzy, and then the other one is just the $10 for this course. If they are a previous Teamzy user, like they used Teamzy and quit, and now they're reactivating their account, then they'll see both those charges happen simultaneously, because they'll restart Teamzy and then pay $10. Are you guys with me? Okay. So those are the, like, most often the questions I get are about the billing. So that's why I just wanted to go through that with you guys. What questions came up while I was presenting, or any thoughts that you guys might have?
I can't think of anything.
Man, I must have been really good. Okay, so here's what I will tell you. I will do the heavy lifting on promoting this to the team on the 2nd. Okay, so you don't have to sell them on doing a challenge. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that on the 2nd. But what you can do is let them know, like, hey, we have that. We're going to do a challenge in the new year. It's going to be great. You know, come learn about it on the 2nd. You're going to really enjoy this. So you hype up the call, but you don't have to convince them at this point that they're going to do the challenge, right? But if we get, you know, if we get 10 people on this call, it's not going to be that exciting to join the challenge. People will, but do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if we get a lot of people on the call, then there's a lot of excitement, and then people are like, I just signed up, I just signed up, I just signed up in the chat. It builds the momentum. We'll get more people excited and engaged. Are you guys with me?
Mhm.
So it's, I'm putting the ball in your court. You guys build the call up for the 2nd. I'll show up. I'll have eaten my Wheaties. Not really. I'll take my Juice Plus, and right. And I'll be excited. I'll be harvesting my kale by then, because it's about this tall right now, my tower. I'll be ready to go. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. Yeah, Betty and Shondalyn. I mean, Betty, you've been using Teamzy a little bit. Shondalyn, you're curious, and does this sound like a plan?
Yeah, it does.
Right.
Okay, go to teamzy.com/JP. Teamzy.com/JP. Get started. You know, get your free trial started. Here's what I recommend you guys do, and I will recommend this also on the team call, is if you look on that, there's my smoke alarm. I gotta go. If you look on that team call, I'm sorry, on your homepage of Teamzy, you'll see that there's you can get one-on-one support. That'll bring you to like a Calendly calendar. And if you just choose a spot on there, my team will do a one-on-one Zoom with you. So this is what I recommend people do, but especially leaders, because then you'll know what it's like, and you can just tell your team, because you're going to have team members that are like, I don't know how to turn my computer on. I don't think I want to do this, right? I'm just going to write on a pad of paper. And so you go, no, it's easy. They've got great team. They'll do it for you. Does that make sense? So that's what, you know, like I said, hold hand in the beginning. We want to get people that fast win. So if you've got anyone like that, that's what we're going to encourage them to do is jump on with my team. They'll get on a Zoom one-on-one. They'll set it up for you if you want, or they'll just talk to you about whatever you want to talk about. But it's a really cool.
Go to Teamzy.
Teamzy.com/JP.
Yeah, your support was amazing. I mean, literally, I want to say all my contacts were in, I want to say maybe 10 minutes. Because I had set up a meeting for them.
Yeah.
And the girl came back and said, hey, I got time right now. I was like, well, this may take a while. She goes, no. She took over my computer, and it was just like, bam. And
Yeah.
I said, really? And then she walked me through a few things, and she was really super, super helpful. Just really nice. Yeah.
Well, keep in mind, you guys might import your contacts one time. And my team has done it thousands of times.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I mean, honestly, I've changed my oil once in my life. Right? I changed my oil once in my life, and it's great. And don't ask me to do it again. I'd rather have someone else do that for me, someone who knows what they're doing, because it ends up being a half-day project for me, a mess, and I got to go recycle the oil, right? So there's a lot of things in our life like that. Let people do it for you. So that's an encouragement to your teams. Again, that's identifying predators ahead of time, right? So for some of you, you're worried about this. Don't worry. They're going to help you through it. So hopefully that helps. Okay. I've got to jump because I've got another one. I saw the clock just struck the hour. But I appreciate your guys' time. Hopefully that was helpful. You can find me on social media if you have more questions, message me. But I'm excited to lead the team through this in the new year. So God bless you guys. Merry Christmas, by the way, in the meantime.
You
We'll see you soon.
too,
Merry
Eric.
Christmas,
So
Eric.
much. This
you.
was great.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.